Ajay, Ghale. My name is Sabal. I'm not the Golden Path.
You already know you've been
Golden
playing.
Path.
Calm down.
We're friends.
So how do
I knew your father.
Ajay,
We're
Ghale.
here to rescue you, son of Mohan. What about Darban?
Pat.
You are our priority. We need to get you out of here safely, no matter the cost. Darban would understand. Now stay close.
I'm not gonna meet you right now.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Kyrat. If you're keeping up with our deep dives, you already know this world is full of complicated characters, twisted loyalties, and more betrayals than a Game of Thrones family reunion. Today we're focusing on Sabal, the man who clings to tradition tighter than Far Cry players cling to their bow loadouts.
Damn, Daniel!
He's not just another Golden Path leader, he's a believer, a guardian of Kyrat's past, and maybe, just maybe, the guy who makes you wonder if sticking to the old ways is really worth the blood it costs.
Look at you. You look good for someone who just clawed his way out of Durgesh. Thank Kira we found you before you froze to death.
How did you find me?
Kira showed me the way. It took a week to track you down. I prayed constantly for your safe return, and the gods made it so.
Thank you.
Sabal is introduced as one of the Golden Path's two public faces, a commander and a man deeply tied to Kyrat's old ways. He is a spiritual, almost priestly presence, stained, ritualistic, and quick to quote tradition as policy. He often positions himself as the guardian of Kyrat's rights and beliefs, and shapes every decision he makes, from keeping girls out of the front lines to endorsing harsh punishments for those he believes betrayed the gods. In short, Sabal is a tradition turned up to 11.
Sabal.
A champion returns. Defending that rebel camp saved a lot of lives.
You guys put me in a difficult position.
Amita would have let our people die, and for what? For intel that we may or may not have needed? The right choice was obvious, brother. It's what your father would have done. That's the golden path. That's the direction we were going before Mohan died. That's why I stepped up. Because I knew your father, and I respected his vision.
And where does Amita fit into all this?
Look, I'll be the first to give her credit. But you don't need two heads. Not if you want to get work done.
Sabal's devotion to the Golden Paths is rooted in reverence for Mohan Ghale, the movement's founder and Ajay's father. Sabal repeatedly frames Mohan as an ideal to preserve, a rigid, conservative standard Sabal means to enforce. That admiration explains why he treats Ajay less like a man and more like an heir to a legacy that must be continued, even if the legacy has ugly paths and really bad reputation.
Who do you remind me of? Oh, yes. Pagan.
I'm like Pagan because I have a vision for Kyrat. I'm trying to take us out of your third world bullshit.
It's our history, our culture, our traditions.
Tradition? Like what? Marrying little girls, is that it? Is that your big plan for Bhadra? Oh, go for it. Go ahead, show Ajay what kind of man you are.
I don't answer to you.
What about Ishwari, Ajay's mother? The game doesn't drop a cinematic moment that says Sabal and Ishwari were besties. Instead, the text and NPC dialogue suggests Ishwari was respected by parts of the Golden Path, but also controversial for her progress streak. Sabal appears to idealize Mohan and distrust and resent Ishwari's influence. He prefers the strict vision of Mohan's vision. The net results, Sabal treats Ajay as a Mohan's heir rather rather than Ishwari's son, which influences his actions and explains a lot of the friction in the movement. In short, Sabal knew of Ishwari and Mohan's place in the mythos, but he is much closer to Mohan's ideology than to anything Ishwari stood for.
The right choice was obvious, brother. It's what your father would have done. That's the golden path. That's the direction we were going before Mohan died. That's why I stepped up. Because I knew your father, and I respected his vision.
And where does Amita fit into all this?
Look, I'll be the first to give her credit. But you don't need two heads. Not if you want to get work done. That's something your father taught me.
If Amita is the future factory, road, guns, trade, Sabal is the temple god. He's about culture, purity, ritual, and keeping Kyrat tied to its old spiritual identity. That means he often at odds with Amita's pragmatism, and he's willing to use dogma to justify brutality. Where Amita says we build, Sabal says we preserve, and preservation in his mind sometimes requires violence. It turns the golden path from a single movement into a tug of war between modernity and theocracy.
Ajay, Longinus said this was from you. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. He also said the opium at the old tea factory was ready to ship. We need to wipe that poison out.
Wipe it out? Are you joking? We need to secure that shipment and those fields.
Amita, we talked about this. Turning Kyrat into a drug state is not the answer.
Sabal, we have no natural resources. What happens when we're free? The mines have been stripped, the fields have been ruined for years. So we liberate our people, then what?
It's not our way. It never was. You do this, you're no better than pagan. It's morally bankrupt.
Better than being literally bankrupt.
When we first meet Sabal, in scene 1, Ajay is sitting with pagan men in Paul Deploy's compound in the dinner table and is pulled into the golden path. Sabal is one of the first major NPCs Ajay meets as a rebel leader, calm, measured, and immediately framing Ajay in terms of Mohan's mission. He helps Ajay escapes and calls him the son of Mohan, placing the boy inside the story the rebels have been telling themselves for years. The first meeting sets tone. Sabal views Ajay personal acquaintances.
Ajay Ghale. My name is Sabal. I'm not the golden path.
We already know you've been blooded. Calm down.
We're friends.
So how are you?
I knew your father.
Ajay
We're
Ghale.
there to rescue Sabal. What about Doban?
Ah,
You are our priority. We need to get you out of here safely, no matter the cost. Darpan would understand. Now stay close.
As AJ earns the Golden Path's trust, Sabal's cutscene shows him lecturing to followers, ordering raids, and justifying harsh measures as the will of Kyrat or ancient law. These short scenes demonstrate how Sabal weaponizes religion. Real ritual becomes policy, and policy becomes a moral bludgeon. Think of him as the guy with a podium and a machete. When AJ has a pink side, what? Oh, when AJ has to pick a side,
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
blow up temples or protect sacred rites, Sabal pushes for protecting the tradition and punishing those who would profane it. The cutscenes aren't just cinematic, they're propaganda. Sabal wants you to feel guilt and religious duty. That's not leadership, that's emotional blackmail with the holy stamp. And here's the kicker. Pick Sabal's side as the leader and there's a post-game cutscene that shows what his rule looks like. In some versions, you see Sabal purging dissent in the temple, executing followers he deems traitors, showing that his brand of tradition can spiral into brutal theocracy. The game makes the point. Both Amita and Sabal have terrifying potential. Spoiler, spoiler warning.
Hey, Spoiler alert, nigga.
Sabal purity plays almost identical to historical theocrats who use fate to justify bloodshed. Sabal is the embodiment of how noble words go rotten. Language of tradition becomes justification of violence. Here's the protect the culture archetype that is real. History often ends in oppression. In the story of Kyrat, he is essential not because he's right, but because he demonstrates how two good aims, freedom, culture, and survival, can be twisted into power grab. The Golden Pad isn't a heroic act, it's a political machine with saints and thugs. Sabal just happens to be both.
The people need to see her. It'll comfort them.
She's just a child, Sabal, and she's terrified. I'll take her home, and then we'll worry about the people, okay? Thank you.
You're okay.
Sabal is tragic because he's sincere. He truly believes he's protecting Kyrat, and that's what makes him dangerous. Where Pagan is theatrically evil, Sabal is the devout kind. Quieter, colder, and ultimately just a capable of bloodshed. In Far Cry 4, the real message comes through loud and clear. Revolution often replaces one kind of tyranny with another, and choosing between them is choosing your poison. So if you actually ask me, like, Sabal has a really good point when it comes to tradition, because tradition, in my belief, tradition is actually very important. You know, to some cultures it's very important to keep tradition alive because it keeps, you know, the people alive. But Sabal goes way beyond it, man. He goes way beyond it. Even though I agree with them that tradition is important, but if it's really harsh, I'm sure they can do something with tradition. I'm not trying to like make fun of tradition. Like, don't come at me, guys, in the comments trying to say tradition is important unless other people believe that it should go, even though it's so harsh. I mean, dude, yeah, I'm not trying to go with that. Every tradition is very important. That's why I say I kind of idealize with him when it comes to tradition. But the way he goes about it, there's a certain different way that I think he can actually make everything work without opposing too much of a tradition and make Kyrat, you know, a safer place. But at the same time, you know, no one man should have all that power, because it can only become so much powerful that he ends up becoming pagan himself. So yeah, so if you ask me, yeah, Sabal is a good leader, but when it comes to him and his vision, it's very cruel. At the same time, it's idealized to be, you know, one of the best ways to go, but it's very cruel. For his people, it's extremely cool because he only has his vision in mind and he thinks that will be safe for everyone. And that's where the fuck up comes. And yeah, man, that's it for my deep dive on Sabal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment and subscribe on my videos. I know I've become like later and later as I'm posting content, but yeah, but I hope I'm trying to get as consistent as I can. So I hope you guys bear in mind with what I have to deal with, and I'm sorry for not posting way much more, but please don't forget to subscribe and share your comments, man. Share your opinions in the comment section, and yeah, let me know what you guys probably have in mind of another deep dive. Probably if you want me to deep dive on other games as well, I can actually do that. The Far Cry franchise is much more my favorite franchise. That's why I'm actually doing deep dives and I'm doing gameplays on that as well. Also, you can check out my channel for Screen TV Magic gameplays. That's why I also do my gameplays. I just recently finished Far Cry 5 and I'm doing Far Cry New Dawn, and then I'm going to be doing Far Cry 6, and then I'll be jumping off to other games as well. I think I'll be doing that also in this game. As soon as I'm finished with my Far Cry 4 lore, I'll probably jump to Far Cry 5 lore, but probably jump to other games because yeah, I'll probably jump to other games. You guys can suggest what games I can actually talk about, and yeah, I can actually do some deep dives on. Anyway, for me, Max, and Screen TV Magic,
I will see you when I see you.
Chose to desecrate your own heritage and spit on the gods.